And we're back for week 2 of the Hustle Podcast. We're about to dive into week 1 of college football after we had an amazing 2 games with week 0. I'm CJ Wesher here with CJ Hester, Logan Smith, and John Hope is finally back with us. The man, the myth, the legend. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great too, but thanks for asking. I appreciate that, man. So, going into it, since you were not here last week, John, we're going to get your picks for conference champions and your Final Four and your Heisman. So I'll dive into that with you, and then we'll kind of all banter off of that. Your ACC, let's start in the ACC. Who are your picks?
Well, for the final this year, I have obviously Clemson,
Obviously.
who are just going to win because there's no other option in that conference, and then playing Virginia Tech in the final.
Va Tech in the final.
Va
I
Tech.
like it. You know, they have a tough road schedule this year, but, you know, I think they have the most coming back in the ACC, so they could get that done. All right. So you said you had Clemson winning?
Obviously.
Okay. Clemson winning that. Now on to the Big 12. Who do you have in the Big 12?
Again, there's not much option. I've got Oklahoma playing Iowa State.
Iowa
in the
State.
final.
That's who I got.
That's what I was about to
Nice.
say. You're kind of with Logan, and then me and CJ
Well,
picked
that's
a good
Texas or
football
Oklahoma.
program.
Let's see who you got winning the whole thing. Who you got?
Yeah, who do you got?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
There's again not much option.
Hey, great
Okay.
minds think alike. We got the same picks for that. Yeah.
You're just picking the okay choice, you know.
Easy.
Sorry, trying to be punny. So now let's go into the Big 10.
The Big Ten.
Yes.
Now I'm shaking it up with this one.
Ah, man, that
Shaking-
scares me.
Shaking it way up.
That scares me.
Without Urban Meyer, I don't think Ohio State gets back.
Okay.
And I think it's finally Michigan's year to win that game.
Okay.
But it's 0 chance that both teams are making it to the finals. And I'm picking
Hot
Penn
take,
State.
hot take. He's taking Penn
Penn
State
State in the east of that.
versus
They're playing Iowa.
Iowa, the
Ooh,
Hawkeyes,
that's who I got. I
Ferrets.
like that pick. Yeah.
They probably have the best defense on that west side.
I
Probably the
don't,
most solid team
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can trust.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
West.
feel any of the love towards Nebraska. I think they're getting
I think they're
7 games
overrated.
this year.
I think they're overrated. I think they'll win more
Four-
than they did.
four games
Win
last
more
year,
than
it's a-
4 games, but I think
I,
it's
incredible.
I think they're going to be a lot better than last year. You're going to see a lot of
Yeah.
improvement in the defense, and obviously with Martinez as quarterback, I think he's going to take a big step forward.
It doesn't matter how many players they have coming back if they're all on what was a losing program.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Like, is Scott Frost's development gonna take care of that? and
I
go
think
into
Scott,
that?
it should, but
It should, but we don't know yet. It's what,
Right.
year 2?
yeah.
Year 2. It's only year 2.
So
They're
all right,
they're
Okay,
2
yeah,
years
back
off
to your picks.
To me,
2 years off.
Yeah.
Cool. So who do you have winning that game?
Penn State.
Penn State over Iowa.
Penn State getting getting
Okay.
the Big Ten conference.
Okay. Now let's go to the SEC.
This one again, you got to pick Bama all the way.
Bama all the way.
It's just they have too much talent always.
Okay.
The receiving
Okay.
core is probably the best they've ever had.
Bama is always the same choice.
Yeah, I
don't
love that
blame you for
receiver.
They're
going
just
with
big.
that.
They're fast. They're just better.
And did you guys take Bama on that side too?
I took Bama on the West, yeah.
Did you
I
take Bama on
took
the West?
You took
Florida,
LSU.
or LSU.
You guys,
So
Yeah, I
we
took
both took
LSU.
LSU on that side.
I took LSU, Florida.
so me and John
shut
again
out
took
last week.
Bama.
Yep.
I think
So-
me and John are gonna have a lot of the same picks.
Yep.
It sounds like.
Which is good because it
Yeah.
evens out our broadcast and it kind of keeps us accountable. So
Wish you were here last
you
week.
have Bama. Who do you have?
Just 2 favorite picks from that side. So it's Bama versus Georgia.
Georgia.
That's who
and
I
then
yep, Bama.
And you have Bama
And then
winning.
Bama
that?
winning, yeah.
Okay.
Bama on top of the
Okay.
SEC again.
It's too easy not to.
It's too easy, man. All right, so we got the SEC. All right, well, I guess we're done for the Power 5. I'm just kidding. I forgot about the Pac-12.
Shots fired.
The little redhead stepchild. Sorry to my sister. So, going forward, the Pac-12, who do you have?
I've got Washington versus
Okay.
Utah, and
Ooh.
Washington taking it all.
Okay, I think I
Washington
picked Utah
taking it
to
all.
take the conference.
And I think we all have Utah in.
Yeah, at least in the
We
championship.
all have Utah
Yeah.
in the championship.
Okay,
I
cool,
love those
cool.
picks. I like
Well, you guys heard it here first, folks. That's John's picks. I think those are pretty good and steady. I know sometimes on this show we can get kind of out of hand and crazy with our picks, but I like those. They're pretty solid picks. So that being said, Dun dun dun! The college football playoffs in your Final Four. What are you picking?
I am picking strictly out of the Power 5 conference championships,
Okay.
and I'm just excluding the Pac from that. So
So Stepchild doesn't get any
Stepchild
inheritance
doesn't
in
get
the will.
anything.
Okay.
They get nothing.
All right. So go ahead.
I got Bama undefeated.
Okay.
As
At
this
number
year.
one.
Okay.
Easy. They're gonna roll through LSU. They're gonna beat Georgia in the final. And then I have Penn State at 2 in the
Okay.
Big Ten coming
As
out of
a
there
2 seed.
as a 2 seed.
We'll get back to this. Let's.
Okay.
They're gonna be 11-1 going into it.
Okay. Who's their loss to?
It's gonna be just a
You
a
just think
random
they'll
low
lose
level-
one game
They'll
and
let one slip. They're
Okay.
gonna beat Michigan.
They beat Ohio State.
They beat Ohio State too.
Hey,
And,
okay.
and Michigan State at that too.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yep. Oklahoma at the 3,
Okay.
another 1-loss team, and then Clemson with a 2-loss. They're gonna be 10-2 going in.
Dang,
But
he's
still
the
get-
no
but still get
undefeated.
in.
Other than Bama, right? You have Bama undefeated?
Yep.
Okay. So, why Clemson? Why Penn State over Clemson? Just curious. I just want to hear your reasoning for it.
I just think Clemson lets 2 slip.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence is gonna be great,
Okay.
but he's also young. He's gonna be 19 going this year, and he's just gonna let a couple.
Okay.
Let a
Well,
couple go.
speaking of Trevor Lawrence, we're going to go on to the Heisman. Who do you have for your Heisman?
I actually do have Trevor Lawrence still.
Yeah,
winning.
so you do have Trevor Lawrence in the
He's
Heisman?
gonna
That's
lead,
right,
he's
yeah.
gonna lead the league in yards
Okay.
and probably overall QBR, and he's gonna roll through.
All right. If you had a dark horse pick, who would it be?
It's gonna be Ian Book from Notre Dame.
Ian Book.
South Bend.
Like Drake says, wet like on Book.
Hey, yeah, if he was honestly on pace, through the first till about November, halfway through November, he's on pace to maybe break the completion record in a season. So yeah, he definitely has the capability to maybe pull off something like that.
Especially starting out 4 seasons.
Yeah,
That came
yeah.
in week 4.
Yeah, against Wake Forest. Yeah,
I keep hearing that he's been more of a leader in
Name team
in-
captain.
in everything.
Yep.
Named team captain. He's leading stretches now.
That's
He
awesome.
used to pass that on,
Yep.
but now he's coming back. I think.
Yeah, we talked about that a
I
little.
think he's just built up confidence, and I think he's
We
gonna
talked
actually
about that a
ball.
little bit last week. Of like, how can Ian Book go to the next
To the
level
next level.
and see what? And I have high hopes for him. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I always like to see guys like him who are a solid kid try to go to that next level and push themselves year after
Right.
year.
And especially he was a 3-star recruit,
Yeah.
so it's like he's got a chip on his shoulder, and you like to see guys like that be able to come into a high level program and be the face of their team.
Definitely. Well, thank you, John. I'm so glad you're back. Now that all 4 of us are here, CJ, do you want to talk a little bit quick about our social media? And then we can also put all of our Twitters and Instagrams on there. So if they had any questions for specific people, we can all do that after the show. But
Yes.
I just wanted you, since you're taking over social media a little bit, to kind of let them know where they can find us other than just YouTube.
Both Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, the name will be at FW Hustle. Capital F, capital W, capital H, at the Hustle. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook to come. You can find us there. Posting the link to our videos, to our broadcasts, giving updates, giving polls for you guys to take to make picks with us.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's one thing we want to do. We want to be able to, even though right now we are just a podcast and we're not live, we still want to be able to interact with our audience and our fan base and to build that. So that's the best way by going on every site and being able to build that. Something we kind of wanted to do is like make polls, like you were saying. Unfortunately, we didn't get to last night, but biggest takeaways from last night: Florida wins. They beat Miami. Was that 24-20?
Yes.
24-20.
24-20, and in a great game. So let's talk about that, guys. What do you guys think? I think we all picked Florida,
We all picked Florida.
so we got that one right. But that was a closer game than I kind of thought it would be.
Yeah, it really was. What's some biggest takeaways you guys took from?
I mean, as I looked at it and come into that game, I thought it would be low scoring. It was a low scoring game for the most part, 20-24. I just thought two defensive teams. It's early in the season. I don't rely on your offense to be on track right now. But I was really impressed with the quarterback play for Miami.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh,
a-
Jared
yeah,
Williams. Yeah, he made
great.
a lot of people that thought he was going to
Yeah.
be on.
And that's part of the reason I
Eat
thought
their
it'd be lower
words.
scoring. Like I also thought Miami would rely more on the run than they did. He still threw the ball 30 times last night.
Oh, definitely.
I didn't. Think
Definitely.
I maybe thought he threw 22 passes last night. He
Yeah.
threw 30.
He was hitting a few in the slants. They did a lot of slant throws or just out routes, like just quick.
Yeah.
And I think just the lateral movement was crazy. It was just how fast they could move on a dime, and I think they made a lot of Florida defenders miss. They had a hand on them, but they just couldn't tackle. I think that's something we kind of talked about is them not tackling right. Well, like Logan, what do you think about that?
Okay, so there's probably two big takeaways from that game. Sloppy. The game was sloppy.
It was
There was
sloppy.
a lot of turnovers. We saw that turnover chain so many times.
About what, 4 times last night?
Yes.
4 times?
But not only on the Florida side with the turnovers, but the Miami Hurricanes, they committed 14 penalties for 125 yards. Talk
Killed.
about
Killed.
that's shooting yourself in the
That seems to be
for-
expected with the Miami team, though. They
Yeah.
just they play hard, they play fast, and they
Yeah.
end up getting
Reckless.
But,
Reckless.
but if you
Reckless
expect to beat a
abandonment.
top 10 team, you cannot shoot yourself in
Yeah.
your own. Like, you can't do it. Another takeaway I got was, like you said, Jaren Williams. He looks like he's probably going to be the ongoing
yeah,
starter
for sure.
for the season.
For
Like,
sure.
he really impressed me with his poise when the pocket would collapse. He would take off running and break a couple tackles. He'd keep the chains
The
moving.
thing I like is, like, he stood in the pocket pretty strong, though. He didn't drop back for 2 seconds and take off running.
Right, yeah.
Like, he looks like a solid pocket quarterback.
He had patience.
Yeah.
In that sense of like looking young, but like
And,
patient.
and with that saying, he stood there with that line just
Yeah, that Florida
Terrible.
line is nasty.
but that Miami offensive line is young,
Yeah.
inexperienced, and they showed last night.
Here's another stat. Yeah, okay. So the Miami line, it's got some problems. Florida had 10 sacks last night. If you're going to put up 10 sacks, 10 sacks and 14 penalties for 125 yards, but still only to lose by 4.
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah.
Miami. They should have lost by probably double digits.
But-
So
with
they,
that.
that's
they have the
did.
talent.
They have the talent.
They had the
They need
talent
better
too.
coaching.
I think it was the coaching. His first year as head coach, first ever game, being a head coach and having to be kind of responsible
Yeah.
for everything. So it's to be expected.
But
Any
like,
other-
like we talked about, turnover chain. That's why they stayed in the game last night.
Yeah.
Felipe Franks, he looked okay. He looked good. And I'm not taking really anything away from that. It's the first game of the season,
Week
neutral
one,
site
yeah.
in Florida. It's hyped up.
Yeah.
But what, 3? How many picks did he throw?
Yeah, 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions. He fumbled once, too, on a
He did.
handoff.
He did.
They did an RPO, run pass option, and he fumbled. So that was a huge thing. They were fumbling, they were throwing interceptions, and they still won the game because of his talent, I feel like. And him being able to bounce back and say, all right, screw this, let's go. And yes, that happened in the past, but he made some big throws and moved with his feet a bit, moved the chains.
John, you got any other
Well,
feedback you got?
Felipe Franks ended up with almost 100 QBR for that game.
Yeah,
That's-
like,
yeah.
Throwing about 60%, 63%
Yeah.
of the game. I mean, that's
and they
yeah.
went for it a lot in 4th down.
They
Yeah.
did.
That was
Ian
huge,
Mullen
too.
was not
Really
afraid to go
aggressive.
for it. Yes, very
And
aggressive.
how many, like, what you say, a fake punt, fake for Florida, a fake
Fake
kick
punt
for
on the
Miami?
very first series.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
Like, so
only
both
Dean
teams
Mullen.
showed they won it.
Yeah, they
Coming
wanted
out
that
with
game.
one.
It was fun watching.
Good
Whether it was sloppy or not, it was fun watching. I think it was a great pick for week 0.
Now, do you think this one shows more about Florida and how good they can be, or are you like take a step back, like maybe they're not that good?
I think it's almost
How good
directly in the
Miami is.
middle. I think a lot of people were almost sleeping on how talented Miami really
Yeah.
is in Jaren Williams because he was honestly a high rated quarterback
Oh,
coming
yeah,
in.
yeah.
But a lot of people didn't
Elite
know that.
11 cam, everything. Yeah.
But Florida, I think, came in thinking they were going to steamroll,
No, for sure, for sure.
and because they got the top 10 ranking. You got something you got to add, John? No, you good?
So that wraps that up.
That
They
seems
get the
fine.
win, 24-20.
You want to talk about an exciting offensive game? Well, I think we should move on to
The
Arizona.
Arizona-Hawaii
Yeah.
was a great game last night with
shattered that over.
Yes, that's what.
What was over on that?
The over, I saw some had 76, some were like 75. It was just different
The
sides.
Rainbow Warriors
Put up
coming out.
83.
83.
The Rainbow Warriors coming out with a win,
And-
45-38, man.
And
That
I
was-
think a couple days before it was like maybe at 70 something. They just kept going up and up
Yep.
and up, and they still
Yep.
beat.
shattered.
Yeah.
I mean, weaker defenses coming from those
yes, that
Not-
especially.
not great football programs, but still recognizable.
But I think I expect more from a Kevin Sutherland defense.
That's
right.
Yeah, I think that's what
year
I
two
was-
Is it year
but-
2, year 3 at Arizona?
Yeah, year two. There was one time I think it was either go up 21-7 or 28-14. The guy was left wide open to
Oh, yeah,
catch a
and
touchdown and go
Arizona
right
in the
into
second
the end
half.
zone.
From an Arizona's perspective, their defense did have 4 interceptions.
They
Okay.
did have footage.
But I feel like that's to come when you're like an air raid Hawaii, where you're
But-
throwing so
Sure.
much.
But
But,
this
no,
is the
still
thing.
you can't diminish 4 turnovers. That's a lot.
But this is the thing: is like those 4 interceptions got them back into the game.
Exactly.
Exactly.
yeah.
They
You
were
can't-
behind by a lot. And hats off to McDonald for stepping up there, because when you're playing Arizona, obviously you're not the quarterback that's going to get talked about the week before. They're going to talk about Khalil Tate. We've talked about Khalil Tate. Didn't even mention Hawaii's quarterback that much.
Exactly.
And Cole McDonald played a hell of a game, man.
29
Like,
for 41, 378 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, but the 4 picks came with that.
Yeah, 4 picks come with that.
With
But I think he
41,
kind of...
that's
41
what
passes for
it's
a
gonna
college
do.
quarterback.
I think he got kind of cocky and tried to go forward through that.
I think one of the biggest things though we learned from the game is Khalil Tate can run again.
Oh,
He looked like
yeah.
a running back playing quarterback.
Yeah, dude, he was doing spin moves
Yeah.
and jukes. And
He looks healthy. He
Yeah.
finally looks healthy.
so that was that. Arizona, close but no cigar. Hawaii
But
with the upset.
hands off. Hey, last week I know I should have done it. I should have taken Hawaii lock. Should have made my lock of the week, keeping it within what was spread 11.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
I should have taken it.
You should have.
Won by a
I'm
touchdown.
sorry, Rainbow Warriors. I should
No,
have.
okay, now let's talk about that. At the end of the game, that last play, we all saw it. Get short at the 1-yard line. Let's say he scores that though. Let's say he gets in. Are you
You
going
go
for
for
2?
two?
Are you going for 2?
No, I think
Are you playing for OT?
Yeah, I think you go to OT having a dynamic quarterback like Khalil Tate who can run and throw. I feel like
But-
he's made for OT.
But who's the better team?
Arizona has a better talent.
I would say
So
Arizona.
if Arizona's a better team, I think you have to go for 2. Because
This
you might
is
not get
my
another
thing.
chance to win.
Who
Right, no, I
predicted
get
this
what
stuff
you're
last
saying,
week? Who said Arizona would come down, Khalil Tate would run it in at the end of the game for the win,
But he was short.
but he was short.
no, I
Just like your girlfriend's. Just short.
Dang.
I'm just kidding.
But no, I just thought it was funny because I fell asleep and you guys were telling me how it ended, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
you missed
pretty
it.
sure I said that
you're
last
pretty
week.
sure I called that.
But no, that was pretty funny. So that being said, that wraps it up. But now we got a lot of picks instead of just 2 teams or 2 games to go for, and
we got a whole handful of games now.
now it's crunch time. So we're gonna go forward with our list of the week. We picked about
The week 1 picks. We did 12 games.
12 games. Okay, we did
2
12
games last night, and then 12 for next.
Okay, so we have 12 games, and what we're going to do is we're going to have 5 games that we kind of dive more in deep. And then all 4 of us have a lock pick of the week, which is going to be worth more for our predictions. That's going to be worth 3 points, and that's when we'll kind of go in depth with the spread, and you guys can kind of see some of that. So, first game.
And last night we all did pick Arizona to win.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
picked
we all
Arizona.
took it,
I'll
yeah.
pick Arizona.
So, that being said, Thursday, August 29th at 7 in Cincinnati.
Ohio.
UCLA Bruins come to town. Who you guys picking? This is a game that we'll kind of go in depth with.
Well, I got Cincinnati, obviously, at home.
Cincinnati at home.
Yeah.
What is this, year 3 for Lou Fickle? Year 4?
I think it's Luke 3. Should be.
Year 3.
He is year 3. Yep.
Yep, year 3 for Fickle. I think he gets the job done. UCLA,
Year 2 under Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
Yep.
I don't see them as a put together team yet.
Okay.
So I'm picking Cincinnati in this one.
I'm going with UCLA.
Ooh.
I'm going with Chip Kelly in the offense. Year 2, Chip Kelly knows what he's got. He's going to adjust to his players, run his offense. And on a quarterback, DTR, sophomore year, played behind Space last year, a little split time. I think he got the offense down now. He can throw, he can run. I think at the end of the day, UCLA has more talent. I think they come out with the victory. I think it'd be close.
With most programs, it takes longer than 2 years for a head coach to change much, especially without a great quarterback going to the
But I think Chip Kelly came in with the team with good talent. You know, the quarterback was the number 1 quarterback coming out of high school. I think he had good talent. Them adjusting to that offense he runs, high,
It's fast,
fast pace.
You got to find
There's a lot of people.
the right
He's
receiver.
RPOs. Yeah, sure. I think
Chip Kelly.
I don't think Chip Kelly's going to Cincinnati and losing. I just don't see it.
Okay, yeah, good pick. I like that.
I don't
Well,
like that at all.
people forget what Chip Kelly was when he was last in college football. He was known for his offense at Oregon. I get that.
High scoring.
And it takes maybe a year or two to implement. Get your system in there. Get your players in there that
but
you
did
want.
he win the national championship?
He would have stayed there with Marcus Mariota eventually.
He would have if Cam Newton was down on that play. Do you remember that? Cam Newton came up the middle and rolled over.
No. That was a running back.
Oh, was that Michael James?
Yeah.
Was it the opposite? No, so they won, didn't they?
No.
No, Cam Newton came back and they won?
Yeah, Auburn won.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Maybe we should get that mandatory drug test.
Yeah, maybe we should. Okay, so I'm taking the Cincinnati Bearcats in this game.
Okay.
The reason why I'm taking that is last year they went to UCLA, won 26-17. Cincinnati's won 17 straight home openers by at least 33 points per game, which was pretty outstanding to me, given their AAC team. Who would have thought that? And I think their offense will be dynamic with Michael Warren coming back, leading rusher. They got their top 4 leading rushers back. They got their quarterback Desmond Ryder coming back. I just think they're gonna have a dynamic offense.
No, for sure. Part of the reason why I picked Cincy is because, 1, I just feel like I want them to win. And 2, because my roommate's a UCLA fan, so shout out to you, Moreno. You're going to lose. Don't ever say I didn't do anything for you.
Who you got, John? UCLA or Cincinnati?
I got Cincinnati at home.
That's
Mostly,
that's the thing. It's a
mostly-
home game.
it's a home game, and that
Thursday night.
campus is beautiful. I love the campus. It's very tight, compact. So is the football stadium. It's
Yeah.
just
And the
straight up.
fans are great.
The fans are great, and they're just on top of you.
Do you want to know why Cincinnati fans are great? Because they're not Ohio State fans.
Good
Close,
point.
but not quite.
Anyways,
What we got next?
we got Utah at BYU. This is my lock of the week, so I'm going to kind of go into that. I have Utah with the -5. So I'm hoping that they win by more than 6 points. I think they'll win by a touchdown. But I'm going to take them as a lock. BYU, like you said, has lost, the last 8 years?
Yeah.
Last 8
Last
years.
7.
Last 7?
Last 7.
Well, it's going to be 8. So I'm taking Utah as a lock. They're my conference championship out of the Pac-12, so I kind of got to roll with them. But I just think they come out strong in starting the season off. Usually they play well in the first game of the season, and they're ready and poised to go.
Yeah, Utah's gonna be fine against BYU. They were barely over 500 last year. BYU was. It shouldn't be any issue.
Utah BYU. This is going to be the 94th meeting.
Okay.
Utah leads all time, 58, 31, and 4. Utah is 9-2 though in road openers, including a 19-13 victory over over BYU in 2017. I think the talent that Utah has right now, having their quarterback healthy, the running back's fine. That defensive line is going to be defense is going to be fine. I think they're built to go on the road and win a game like this. I think it could be closer than what people think. Yeah, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Because I think BYU, look what they did to Wisconsin. Nobody thought they'd go to Wisconsin a top 5 team and win, but they did. BYU, they don't beat themselves, but I do have Utah winning by maybe a field goal, 4 points.
Well, like I said last week, Tyler Huntley and Zach Moss are back. They missed the last 5 games. So that going in depth, I think that's huge for them. Their D-line has been an absolute pipeline to the NFL.
Yes.
And they continue to just produce. They should be D-line U. But that being said, Andy Ludwig's back, second stint, and I think he's going to be ready to turn around the Utes into the right direction.
So we're all on Utah.
And
Utah.
what's funny is, to bring it back to our show last week, when you said Zach Edinburgh, I thought you were talking about Zach Moss winning Heisman.
Yeah,
That's who I thought you were talking
Which
about. I'm
he
like,
could be
yeah.
a dark horse.
Yeah, he could be a dark horse. So I was like, okay.
But yeah, I got Utah coming in. I think it'd be close for a half.
Close.
It's a night game at BYU. Then there'll be hype. The crowds will be wild. It's close, but I think Utah pulls out about probably. I'm gonna go 14. They win by 2 touchdowns.
It's still a favorite of the pack.
Yeah.
They should be fine.
And I mean, and going up to the Pac-12, they've gotten a lot better athletes than they had.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not in the Mountain West or wherever they were before.
It's
So
interesting
like,
with more schools developing and
yes,
but also USC, Stanford kind of falling
Falling
back.
down. I mean, Utah's going to California getting those Southern Cal kids to
Yeah.
come over. So what we got next?
Next, Saturday, August 31st,
Where is that
at
Saturday?
12 o'clock, FAU at Ohio State.
I've got Ohio State.
Do we need to,
I just think
do we
they're
need to
gonna
argue about anything on this.
Yes,
It's
we
Ohio
do,
State by
because we have
40.
irrational people.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
It's not Urban Meyer at the helm, but it's still
It's
that
FAU,
Ohio State
but it's
mentality.
Lane Kiffin.
It's Lane with not the talent he had.
So
at Alabama.
you're picking Ohio State?
I'm picking Ohio
Logan,
State by
you're
45.
yeah, Ohio State.
I got Ohio State. I
Okay,
just-
so you're picking.
I look deep into this, because Lane Kiffin, he's searching for that one win. He gets that one win, he knows that's going to bring him back to a top-notch school. He's looking for it. This is the time to get it.
So you're picking.
New coach, new quarterback for Ohio State. All right, FAU coming in with 5 returning starters on the O-line. Returning the quarterback. Top receiver coming back, a transfer wide receiver from West Virginia, had 3 games over 100 yards receiving. The number 2 option. Top tight end coming back. The defense, we can't lie. It's a little shaky. I think it'd be a shootout. I'm talking high 30s, mid 40s. Shootout. I'm going to go with FSU. I'm going to go.
You can go FAU.
FAU. I
Okay.
said FSU.
FAU.
So I have the chance to either tie it up or swing the vote. I'm gonna go with.
Michigan fan, here you go.
Hang on, Sloopy. Hang on. Oh, hey.
He's going to Ohio State.
I'm going to Ohio State,
Okay.
man.
Wow.
The
Okay.
Buckeyes, man, they're going to lose one game this year, and it's going to be. We'll hold that.
We
for
get that later.
He's sure not going to beat Michigan.
So everybody's on Ohio State, but
Yeah. But no, I like that.
No, I like what you're saying. I just can't. I just
Okay,
can't
let's
do
talk
it.
about this.
What is the spread look like? 37?
27 and a
27
half.
and a half.
Okay, let's talk about this though. 2007. Appalachian State comes to Michigan, right? 2007. What's Michigan ranked? 5.
5.
What's Ohio State ranked?
5.
But hey, to be fair, Ohio State's got a little more talent than Michigan did. back then.
That was a good.
Don't
We still
you
had Chad
know.
Henne.
We had Chad Henne,
Chad
Mike
Henne.
Clark,
But
Mario
we still had
Manningham.
But was Chad Henne the number 1 player in the country coming out of high school?
But was it Chad Henne's first start? This is Justin Fields' first
That's
start.
fine. I know what you're saying.
He
You're
feels
trying-
that pressure.
Michigan fans are trying to get that in the past.
I'm just saying this. I wish you saw nobody.
Boom,
But what if Justin Fields comes in and gets hurt? Who's the backer for Ohio State?
Kentucky's back up. Yeah, they don't.
Hang on,
What's his
Sloopy,
name?
Sloopy, hang on. I
Yeah,
suck that
it's-
song, guys. Sorry. I wish Ohio State wouldn't have tainted it. Kentucky's quarterback, the transfer.
Is the backup.
Gunnar Hoke or something.
Yeah.
like
Yes,
that?
yep, Gunnar Hope.
And what Ryan Day said the other day really shook some people. He said Justin Fields is the starter, but still needs to prove
Yeah.
to him that he can lead his team to
Yeah,
win.
because he still needs to learn the offense.
He's young.
Yeah.
Well, because
yeah.
look, if you look at Ryan Day last year, he had a team with, Dwayne Haskins at the helm, and when they started, he had Bosa. So that being said, I think that I think it's a little different, than Justin Fields coming in first year. Dwayne Haskins is a heck of a ball player.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Okay, so what game we got next? We got South Carolina versus North Carolina.
Yeah.
Out of the Carolinas.
The game's in Charlotte. It'll be a 3:30 kickoff. Or no, I think they
Yes,
moved it to a 7.
They moved to that game.
Yeah, they moved to a night game.
So is that play at the Panthers field in Charlotte?
I think
Is that right?
I think it's an NFL stadium.
Okay.
So North Carolina may have the edge on fans in this one.
Now last week, piggyback on last broadcast when I said we were talking about how many wins does North Carolina get this year, 5, 6, and I said they make a bowl game if they beat South Carolina week 1. They go 6,
So
6
you
and 6.
picking North Carolina?
That's it.
On that saying, I'm going with South Carolina. They just got more talent. What, 3 years? Like the quarterback's 3 years starting?
Yeah, or 4-year starter.
4 years starting. Yeah, he started as a true freshman.
Yep.
Yeah.
South Carolina's always, man. They're always running. They're always ready.
It was fun.
I mean, they're not top tier team, but they're a team that doesn't mess around.
I think
I mean,
they could
it's-
surprise a lot of people.
It's a version of ACC versus SEC.
And I think that's another thing. It's pride. It's South versus North. Like
It's who's a recruit going to go to
I think
an SEC or an ACC team.
Who'd you
It's
say,
just-
Caleb?
It's the SEC all day.
I think I'm gonna take South Carolina.
South Carolina. Who you got, John? South Carolina.
Absolutely same for me.
All right, well, I'm making this my lock of the week.
Okay.
This game, I'm taking South Carolina to beat North Carolina by at least a touchdown.
Okay.
The reason why,
What's the spread on
the
that?
last I saw was 7.
Okay.
So, I've got South Carolina. I think, like you said, 4-year starter in Jake Bentley. He's experienced. He's played some of the best defenses in the SEC for 4 years now, or 3 years now, coming into his 4th season. South Carolina's won 18 of their last 19 season openers. The last loss
Okay.
was in 1999 to NC State. The last time they played was in 2015. It was close. It was a 17-13 win by South Carolina.
Okay.
Will Muschamp's 8th year as a coach overall, his 4th at South Carolina. On the hot seat, fans are iffy about him. If he comes into this game looking sluggish, like if they barely win, I really think the seat's going to warm up and fans
And I
are really
think
going to
the
want him out
biggest
there.
problem about South Carolina is that defense. Now they get more recruits in, but like that defense, that secondary has been so iffy the last 3 to 4 years.
I think the offense is going to help negate some of those defensive
Issues.
yeah, because you got the leading rushers and Rico Dowdle or whatever his name is. Yeah, he goes off. You got, like you said, Jake Bentley. You got 3 of the 4 top wide receivers coming back. I just think they're going to be able to put up
They did lose. Was it Debo?
Debo Samuel. They
Like,
lost
big
Debo.
Big loss.
And another crazy stat is, which will show you how I feel like undermanned North Carolina is. They moved Chaz Surratt, who was at one point their starting quarterback, to linebacker, that's going to be a big move. I don't know. It's hard to negate some of that problem.
Yeah, I think South Carolina's just too talented. I really think South Carolina can surprise some people in the SEC this year. I'm not saying that they'll win their side
Right,
or whatever,
yeah.
but I coming in 3rd or 4th place on the SEC East is not out the picture.
And Will Muschamp
He
he has to do something this year. So that's why I'm taking it. That's why that's my line.
So we all in South Carolina.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to Duke versus Alabama. Game's played in Atlanta,
Oh, yeah?
Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, I mean, it's in SEC country where they play the SEC championship.
Basically, Alabama's second home.
Yeah.
It's in Atlanta.
It's a home game.
It's a home game. Like John said, it's a home game.
There's fans, there's bandwagon fans
Yeah.
everywhere.
Exactly.
They're gonna be.
Bama plays in Atlanta at least twice a year.
They're gonna be cruising through Duke.
So you think they're cruising with Duke? Like the spread is what? What's the spread?
The spread is
33?
35.5.
Duke over the last 5 years.
I think
top
Duke
20.
covers that. I think
I think
Duke.
that's the biggest question. Does Duke cover the spread?
I think Duke covers the spread. I think they come out pissed off
Okay.
from out everybody talking about Clemson being the best program in the country now.
Okay.
After that butt whooping they had from Clemson in the national championship, and everybody's, from what I've heard, is walking on eggshells around that place. Nick Saban is not having this. He is not having his program be talked about as the second
So
best
if you had to
program.
pick a score,
So you think they put up like?
Oh, if I had to pick a
Pick
short,
a
I think it's
score.
going to be 49-7, 56-10, 56-7 type
I think it's
game.
gonna be more onslaught offensively than anything. I think Tua goes off, and then that receiving core. is
Yeah, I
just
think the receiving core is going to be
insane.
Jerry Judy,
You got 3 potential NFL stars
J-
on that team this year.
Jalen Waddle.
so John,
I think Najee Harris. I'm sorry, dude, but who on that defense is going to be able to tackle and slow down Najee Harris?
the weapons that Alabama has is
It's
really
unbelievable.
ridiculous. And speaking of just how like ridiculous Alabama's been for the past 10 years, knowing that this team might have the most weapons they ever
Yes,
had.
this could be their best offense in history.
I'm taking
Not
Alabama.
necessarily defense. Their defensive line isn't as good as it has been.
I
when
think
they
the
won
defense
national
is taking a
titles.
step back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, and that's what Nick Saban to talk about how great of a coach he is. He went from being a defensive first, defense wins you championships to, man, I got the culture's changing. I need to get my offense better, and bringing in great minds like Kiffin,
and all those guys.
Steve Sarkisian.
And just developing other coordinators who's leaving to get different
Yeah,
jobs.
of
you know?
course, it's crazy.
So I think we're all fair on Alabama.
Bama.
It's just whether if they don't cover or not. And I think,
Yeah.
like you guys said, it still would be like a 52-7 game. Just something.
I can see
ridiculous.
70 points coming out of Alabama.
Oh, definitely.
I can see it. all day.
Definitely. Like Duke, they've had their chances to be good over the last few years, and I still like
just
they
don't-
fail.
they've
They have
gotten
some
to about
subpar
top
bowl
20.
seasons where they have 6 or 7 wins. They go to
Right.
bowl game, and
They
That's
got- they
that's
got
about
to
it.
9.
That's about Duke. That's about Duke.
But it's okay. They're the basketball gods favor them over the football gods.
So who we got next? Who we got next?
We got
We got Northwestern at Stanford.
number 25 Stanford. They're
And
coming in
this
here
is-
ranked. It's a 4:00 game
At Stanford.
in Palo Alto.
Okay.
It's gonna be a hot one.
Who you guys
Yeah,
got?
it's
Who you guys
early.
got?
It's hot. That's
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing too. Is like right now, in the Midwest, it's cool. It's starting to get kind of fallish. Not totally there, but it's cool. Now in Palo Alto, California, it's getting super hot. I think I want to take Northwestern, but I think I'm going to go Stanford for the fact that I don't think these Northwestern Wildcats are ready for the heat. And I think they're going to be fatigued, and I think they're going to be, they got travel across the country. Honestly, Evanston's just outside of Chicago, or if it's in Chicago, whatever you want to call it. They got a lot of, nice breezes coming off the lake effect. They got everything. So the weather does play an effect in this game. And I know normally we don't talk about that, but I honestly think the weather plays an effect. Stanford's ranked 25. They're kind of not talked about as much because obviously, like, everybody's kind of
Oh, people sleeping on Stanford big
No,
time.
that's what I'm saying. They're kind of like
Yeah.
they're the Michigan State of the Pac-12.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I
Like, would that be
I like
would that
comparison.
be like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good comparison?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. What about you guys?
This is the only game I have on my sheet that I have not picked yet.
I didn't have it picked either, so that's why it came down.
But
Like,
Northwestern just, hasn't, they have a solid defense. You got one of the best linebackers in the country in Patty Fishers.
Right.
But I think the question is, what does his transfer quarterback look like when he plays?
Hunter Johnson, yeah.
Hunter Johnson,
5-star coming out.
5-star, went to Clemson, knew he wasn't going to play behind Trevor Lawrence. Transfers to Northwestern. It just depends how he plays.
And not only did he have to try to beat out Trevor Lawrence, he had to try to beat out another, 4 or 5-star, and Kelly Bryant.
Kelly
Kelly
Bryant.
Bryant,
Yeah, well, everybody
so he
keeps
was
forgetting
third on
about
that
Kelly
list.
Bryant.
Everybody forgets because Trevor Lawrence just
Honestly,
totally
so last year or 2 years ago, when Hunter Johnson signed with the class, did Clemson have the best quarterback competition?
Oh, I would
in-
say
in the country
With
with
that
five-
QB
three
for Hunter
5
Johnson
stars,
to be third, like
3 5-stars,
Yeah,
battling
What that
it out.
QB room look like. So,
Yeah.
it just depends how he runs the offense. I think the defense is always going to be solid.
With
Under
Patty
Pat-
Fisher.
Yeah.
With that being
Patty
said, the
Fisher.
defense is going to be the staple of this game. I believe.
Yes.
So I think it's gonna be relatively low scoring. It's gonna be under their mark, and I think gonna be about 17 to 20 game.
Who do you got? Who you got winning?
I have Stanford winning the game,
Stanford.
Northwestern covering. At
Okay.
6.5
Is this your
points.
lock?
Cover. Okay.
It's not my
No,
lock.
okay.
No.
I think time of possession is going to be the biggest factor in this game. Which defense is going to be on the field longer and be tired by the fourth quarter?
I like that.
But Mike Taylor said that it might affect Northwestern. Not playing Southern Cal, it's hot, but I'm going to take Northwestern in the Big Ten.
Okay,
I'm
but
going to take the Big Ten.
you're taking Big Ten, but and this is another reason I forgot to mention is all their like beginning of the season games. Like, okay, so they played Purdue first game of the season last year. They beat them, but then they lose to Duke. Then they lose to Akron. Like these close games, but they lose them to non-conference teams. They lose to Notre Dame, which they played middle of the season, and then they go on and they go to the Big Ten championship. They play a decent game against Ohio State, but what I'm saying is Pat Fitzgerald's teams don't start to roll fast. They don't just hit bam and then they're gone.
But the one thing-
It's a slow process, and then they get going by the Big Ten.
But the thing about that, though, his teams don't show up for big games.
Oh, they do. They do for sure.
Michigan
But-
comes to town, week 4 it was, and they're up 17-0 at halftime?
Yeah.
Do you think this is a big game away, all the way to California?
Oh, it's huge.
Oh, and that's
it's
why I
top
think
25 team. Yeah, it's a big game for them.
And they never say no. That's what I like about Northwestern. I see it's too much week 1. I'm taking Stanford, like I said, but that's why I think Pat
You think it's a
Fitzgerald.
good game?
I think it's a great game.
I think it's gonna be.
It could be come down. It could be an overtime game. But that being said, it's not my lock, so I'm just gonna pick straight up Stanford.
All right. Well, so the series between these two teams, Stanford leads 3-2. This is definitely going to be your grandfather's game. It's
Yeah.
going to be run the
Defense,
ball.
running.
Like CJ said, it's going to be who is worn down by the
Stack
fourth
box.
quarter.
Right.
And-
Yeah.
But what coach in the country does that better than David Shaw?
Yeah.
He will give you body blow after body blow for the first 3 quarters, knowing that fourth quarter, that last round, you're going to be worn down. He's going to get when they're running.
It's a chess match.
Yeah,
a boxing match.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. He knows he's got it. It's a
like I said,
four quarter
I feel like
game.
that fatigue's gonna come into play.
So, right, yeah, I get what
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you say.
But does that
this
only
body-
affect Northwestern? You think that affects Stanford?
No, they're used to practicing it. They've been all summer, man. Like that's how I feel.
But like back what I was saying was you got KJ Costello back. What I think with Stanford, they need to get back to the run game.
Yes.
Last couple years they've been trying to come to like an air raid offense,
Yeah.
which I don't understand. Just stick to what brought you to the dance. Because nobody in the country really does that anymore. Who do you know that runs with I formation that has 6'5", 300-pound offensive linemen across the board? Like, of course, you're going to get worn down by the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But I think Stanford's definitely going to win this game. Like you said, John, maybe a 23-20 game, 20-17. It's going to be some
tight.
Under the under of 46.
Oh yeah, I definitely think he'll be under 46. Especially first game of the season, defenses always play better than the offenses.
For sure. Who we got next?
So next, and now this is your live, correct?
This is my lock.
Boise State versus Florida State in Jacksonville, mutual site game.
Is it really though?
Yeah,
It's Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's in Jacksonville, so
we're not in Tallahassee, all right?
So who we got?
Well, my lock's gonna be Boise State in this one.
Ooh.
I think
picking-
they're gonna cover, and I think they're gonna do better than that. I think they're gonna win the game.
Okay.
Ooh. What about you, CJ?
well, wait, what's the spread?
What's
The
the
spread is 5.5.
5.5. So you think that Boise State's not going to lose by more than 6?
I think Boise State's gonna win.
They're going to win outright, but
They're gonna win
But at
outright.
least you could even take points. So for your lock to even be right, Florida State could win by 5 and he'd
Yep.
still be
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
I like that pick.
Sure.
That's Boise State's going to come in.
Boise State with a 10-3 win team last year, and Florida State with 5-7 off of that injured quarterback Francois. I don't.
And he's gone.
He's
not
gone,
even back.
right? And they got James Blackman starting over
Yep.
a transfer quarterback in Hornibrook.
Which is still depth. Like that
Right, that's-
position.
that-
so
if-
somebody gets hurt.
Right.
We're not
you
going
throw
in.
a force.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. But again, new system for them. It's difficult to say how
Yeah.
well their offense does this year. But starting out, I don't believe they do well.
So will Boise State run a Statue of Liberty to win the game?
Yeah, without
My biggest question mark in this game will be Florida State's offensive line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. Like you said, this is almost probably the second biggest coin flip of the Week 1 matchups other than Oregon-Auburn. Because I can honestly see Boise State or Florida State winning this game
Yes.
either way. I could also
Oh,
I could
yeah.
see it being close. I could see either one blowing the other
Just-
team out. It's honestly
it's
you
not
do not
technically a
know.
home game.
Yeah.
But
So
you know
I don't
it's
know how many.
Yeah, it's a home game.
95% Florida State fans.
I'd say
Smith?
probably 85-15, 80-20.
How hype
almost.
are they about last year though? Only winning 5.
Maybe not the fans, but I think the players have something improved in the coach.
Yeah, I like that.
5
yeah.
games. What? It was like they went to a bowl game for what? How many years in a row? Like
Yeah, they were the longest in the country. It was a crazy bowl streak.
Yeah, so like for them to come back, be ready, and you without a doubt, Florida State has talent.
They do.
They got 5
They do.
stars, 4 stars on top of each other. But I
Like you were saying, Florida State had made a bowl game every single year since 1982. That is insane.
so they got something to improve. I got Florida State over Boise State.
And that was, that's 1982. Like that's an insane bowl streak
It
right
is.
there.
That is.
I got Florida State by
You got
10.
Florida State
by 10. By 10.
You have Boise State with just offense, just
Yeah.
straight offense. They got 6 returning starters on offense, 7 on defense.
Okay.
They're gonna be doing well offensively. I think it's gonna cover the over of 53.5 easily. I think Boise State puts up 42 by themselves.
Ooh. Man. So the Seminoles, the last 2 seasons, have not started out particularly well.
No.
They've lost the last 2 season openers. But I just feel like at the end of the day, this was Willie Taggart's dream school. He loves Florida State.
Loves them.
There's nowhere in the country he'd rather be. So, knowing he's on the hot seat, he knows he has to win this game. If he loses this game, his hot seat's going to be even warmer. Like, there's no doubt about it.
He's not Jimbo Fisher though.
No,
Jimbo was a
no,
great
of course.
coach, but he let him down
I get
before he left.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, he left the cupboard dry.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like you should give Willie Taggart that first year. It's like, okay, he really
He has nothing. He has nothing.
He
to
was
do.
trying to just bring the team back together.
Quarterback situation was awful.
Yeah. They got 8 on offense, 8 on defense. They got their leading rusher back, Cam Akers, who was a 5-star. What was he? The number 1 running back coming in. He could easily on any other team be a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
So
for
as
sure.
long as Florida State's offensive line can come through and play better, I think they'll be fine. They brought in Art Briles, offensive coordinators, or not Art Briles' son.
Oh
From
yeah.
Baylor.
Yeah. They brought in his son. He was with Lane Kiffin before, and he said he's going to kind of run his offense to hide the deficiencies from the offensive line. So I think they'll come up with enough plays to win the game. I got Florida State.
And speaking of Florida State, honestly, I think they make a big jump this year. I think they come second in the coast in the Olympic.
Oh yeah, that's what I got them saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to make a big
In
improvement.
the Olympic, yeah, I think they come in second.
So you have
behind
them
Clemson.
winning this game.
Yes,
You do.
yeah, I got them by 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking Willie Taggart in the second year. He's coming out firing. I'm taking FSU. Boom, mic drop. That's it.
That's it.
All right, let's
I
move
think-
on
I
to the
think
next
they're
game.
Move on.
We got a top 17 showdown between the number 11 Oregon
16.
Ducks.
Top 16.
Top 16.
Top 16.
Top
Even
16.
Oh,
Even better in Arlington, Texas.
In Jerry's
So
house.
yeah,
it's
Jerry
pretty
World.
much an Auburn home game because it's much.
No, I think Oregon's. I think
Oregon might
back
be able
it.
to travel.
I
They
think
might.
Oregon does not travel.
I think they don't travel. I
Not
think
from
they
all
travel
the way
good.
in Oregon.
I think they'll travel good.
That is so far.
No,
I
think they
think I think Auburn travels.
You think Auburn gets the
Home
most?
I think
Auburn had the home
I think
field.
Auburn.
I think it's 70-30.
73.
In terms of
I
fans
think
that are there.
I think it might be 60-40. I think
Well,
more
see,
Oregon fans will travel.
If you look at like the college football like marketing and who sells the most,
65-35.
Oregon is one of those things. One, Nike is out of Oregon, so
Right.
They'll
Oregon,
make sure fans are there.
yes, fans will be there, but
But at the same time, it's SEC.
it's SEC,
SEC country,
Pac-12.
yeah.
and SEC is
It
much,
just means
much
more.
higher.
It just means
Yeah.
more.
The
for
Southern
the
teams
SEC,
care
yeah.
so much more.
I'm more worried about what jerseys Oregon's wearing this year than if they'll win a game or not. But no disrespect to them. I think they'll come out. I think they'll be good. But I've always, kind of liked the Auburn Tigers.
Who
And
needs
I guess Malzahn needs this win to stay.
Who needs this win more? Like, who
Auburn,
needs this?
Easily Gus Malzahn. I
Auburn.
think.
Auburn.
But
against
if you look at it from a team standpoint, if you look at it from Auburn versus the Pac-12 standpoint, Oregon needs this win because the Pac-12 needs some bragging rights.
Yeah, they need something.
Yeah, they need something. It's insane.
Speaking of that, who you got?
I'm going with Auburn.
You got Auburn. John, who you got?
Auburn covering the spread also.
Logan?
Ooh, give me 1 second. I am flipping a coin right now.
So you guys,
Oregon.
John, Caleb on the
It's
Auburn
Oregon.
train.
It's Oregon's spread, right? They're
No, Auburn's the favorite. Auburn's
Auburn's
a three,
the
three
favorite.
and a half
Auburn's
favorite.
3.5 favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
swap. But
No,
yeah, I still take Auburn to cover and win by 10.
And you got Auburn to win by 10.
Here's the thing about this. Auburn starting quarterback. They think a true freshman, right?
Freshman, yes.
Bo Nix?
Bo Nix, true freshman.
I like him.
I like it. Confidence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That just came out this week, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe
I like
last week. Yeah.
I like it. Because a lot of them were saying that it was going to be,
The redshirt freshman?
I know his name. Why can't I think of it?
I'm going with the Oregon Ducks at the Pac-12. Justin Herbert, he's gonna come out firing. Auburn's gonna have the great
Herbert's a
defense.
beast.
There's no way a true freshman's gonna come here and outscore Oregon. There's no way.
I like that, yeah.
There's no way.
Outduel I Herbert.
I think it's gonna be a shootout in
Yeah.
Texas. It always is. I think it's a shootout. Oregon wins by. Got Oregon by 9.
Oregon by 9. I like that. Okay.
See, I'm cautious about Auburn in the SEC, but against non-conference opponents, I think they're going to do okay.
Yeah.
So
Is it because of the talent difference you think they have?
yeah.
Hey, okay.
Go ahead.
Alright, so this is the second meeting all time. Do you guys remember when their last meeting was?
National championship.
National
National championship. I
We were
love
just
it.
talking about
I
it.
love it. Yes. Okay. Just making sure you guys are all on the same page. So, but do you guys know where Mario Cristobal comes from?
Yeah.
He comes from the SEC. He's an SEC coach. He coached under Nick Saban. You know what he's been doing this offseason? He's taken every single one of his coaches to Georgia, to Alabama, to LSU to show them how to play SEC ball. They've got 17 returning starters. They may have the best offensive line in the country. They've got 5 offensive linemen coming back. Give me the Oregon Ducks. Give me the Oregon Ducks in Arlington.
And not only
Texas.
that,
Give me Justin Herbert leading them, bringing Juwan Johnson from Penn State, having
Transfer
a
wide receiver?
give him 6 receptions for 100 yards, maybe a touchdown.
Maybe a touchdown.
Yeah, I think. Give me Oregon Ducks. Give me the.
Not
Oregon
only
Ducks.
that, I think
the
that
Pac-12
defense,
needs this more.
the defense will be ready to go.
Yes, I think Mario Cristobal. He said he is bringing, just like Urban Meyer said he was bringing the SEC to the Big Ten. And I am not comparing Mario Cristobal to Urban Meyer, but he's saying he's bringing the SEC to the Pac-12, and that's the team he's doing it.
Call Uncle Si, because we're going duck hunting, boys.
Who we got next?
Next game is number 3 Georgia Bulldogs at Vanderbilt.
SEC.
7:30 kickoff
Right
night
off the
game.
bat.
Night
Hey,
game at Vandy.
hey, just let me tell you one thing. Ball State transfer quarterback, the one who came into South Bend and was poised
And almost won.
and almost won, is the starting quarterback
Okay.
at Vanderbilt. Just a food for thought, right
So,
here, before we.
If you're Vandy and you want to get an SEC team, you better get in week 1.
yeah,
right?
you better get it.
Speaking
Georgia
on that,
soon.
I got Georgia winning by 35. So we are talking about Vandy football.
Yeah, no, I get it. The only thing that's going to keep Vanderbilt in this game, because I got Georgia as well, is going to be the experience at quarterback. They have dynamic receivers and running backs. But I do think Georgia, first game of the season, Kirby Smart will have them ready to play. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs by at least 20 points.
Georgia always has that chip
20
since
points,
they're
yeah.
always slightly behind
Hey.
Alabama the last few years.
They're almost like their
They
little
want to win
brother.
and they want to win
Yeah.
big. It's going to be over the spread, over everything. It's going to be just straight offensive onslaught.
Yeah.
This is my prediction. I think Georgia's hungry, and I think they're mad. One, not only after Texas beat them in the bowl game, but two, after Bovee almost killed Aga last year, they're going to come out. I think they got a good win.
Is that a blowout?
Well,
I think it's a blowout, dude.
it's a blowout. The over-under is only 41.
Bro, like,
It's over that.
I think Georgia
spread-
maybe put up 41 by themselves.
The spread is
Yeah.
the spread is
They
17 and
definitely
a
do.
half.
Spread 17.5.
Yeah, Georgia's good.
I definitely think Georgia probably.
I think Georgia wins like 21.
But see, I'm falling into the trap where I'm saying almost don't fall into that trap because what if Vanderbilt with the experienced quarterback with the good running backs?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't-
It's
Hey,
Vanderbilt
same
versus
doesn't
listen,
matter.
a title
listen to
contender.
this.
It's crazy.
DeAndre Swift, Jake Fromm will not play the fourth quarter.
Hey, you got me sold. See, all you have to say is Jake Fromm, DeAndre Swift.
They not play the fourth quarter.
Hey, no, like I said, Oregon may have the best offensive line. Let me correct myself. Georgia has the best offensive line. Yes. Oregon's probably second.
Now we see. So we all on the Georgia train.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking
Ain't no
about
difference
good
on
offensive lines, let's go to the next game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay.
What's the next game?
We're
you
going
guys?
to an old little Middle Tennessee State coming into Ann Arbor. The
Nope.
number 7 Michigan Wolverines. Shea Patterson led. What are you guys going to do to start off the season? Josh Gaddis calling plays. What do you guys got? Steamrolling. Are you guys putting up 50, 60 points this
I mean,
game?
50 sounds right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can
50
see.
sounds
50,
I mean,
I can see
honestly, it's
50.
a tune-up game.
That's what I'm saying,
It's,
Middle
it's just to
Tennessee-
get everybody hype about the season.
I can see, like I said, Bama against Duke, 56. I could see a 56
No, with this-
to 10, maybe 56-7.
What's the spread?
The
You guys
spread's
cover.
35.
Oh, I
33.
think we cover.
You think
I
we
think we cover.
I think that's the biggest question with this game. Does Michigan cover the
But
spread?
isn't it Appalachian?
But hey, okay, but the other biggest is it a letdown if you don't cover?
That's what I was gonna say. Like if we
Is
don't
it-
cover,
if it's a
everybody-
35
If you only
10.
win by 20, is that just a?
Is it a 35-10, 35-17, 38-17 game?
mad.
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't be mad.
A win's a
if
win.
A
You
win's a
survived
win.
in advance.
No, a win's a win, but
What first
you
game of the
almost
year is it a
wanna
survive
cover that.
situation,
I think-
or is it let everyone know who you are?
I mean, there's been teams in the past that have almost lost week 1 and came out and won national championship. So,
This isn't like a game where you know what Michigan come out and make a point. No, we're not making a point against Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
no,
We're not making. There's no reason.
There's
to
no
do that.
reason to.
And I get
We have
you
guys
guys were
coming off
saying
injury.
you like it's a night game, so they're going to come out hype.
Oh, definitely.
They're going to come out
Maybe a
rather
Mays
than
out.
if it was a Middle Tennessee at a noon kickoff,
Yeah.
at a 3:30. It's
But
a
why
7:30.
is it a night game?
No,
against
it- but it
Because
came
it's-
out.
I think prime time
Because-
makes sense.
no, like I think it is what you guys said is to make sure you guys are
seems-
woken up for that game and ready
But
to
it
play.
seems to be a waste of a night game.
No, that's what a lot of people are
that's
saying.
another thing. It's
But-
a waste, but as long as you come out ready for that
Hey
game.
guys, I'm okay with it. I'm coaching volleyball, so I had a tournament that day, so I'm pretty hyped. It's a nice
So
game. They did it 'cause of
everybody's
me.
taking Michigan big. Everybody's taking Michigan.
Michigan,
big.
bet you would see 4 different quarterbacks play that day for Michigan.
Yeah, because you have the four game red shirt eligibility.
You would see.
I
Four
think
quarterbacks.
the over under will be at 2.5, and I think Joe Milton will probably come in at the 4th
And
because
get some
Dylan
snaps.
McCaffrey is definitely going to get at least most of those snaps
Oh, definitely.
that are ready.
Dylan McCaffrey would play maybe a whole quarter. I
That's
think
what I'm
week one.
saying.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
think I
All
don't
the
think there's
third
going to be
quarterbacks,
five. I
yeah.
think there's going to be 3 quarterbacks. It's going to be Shea, McCaffrey, and Joe.
And
Milton.
now when Joe Gass is
I think
talking
if they're
about,
up by 20 by the end of the middle of the second quarter,
You
you
see-
take out Shea.
Oh yeah, Dylan.
I think
well,
once they
Harbaugh
get up by
already
20.
said is that Dylan's playing in all 12 games. It's on par.
now
Yeah.
speaking of that, he's gonna play because we don't blow teams out. But talking about the Wildcat stuff, we might run with Dylan McCaffrey or even Joe Milton sometimes.
I'd rather run it with Joe Milton.
That's what I was thinking. But you will not see this. You will not see the Wildcat week 1 or week 2. We're not those show it against
No.
teams that we're not those show it.
No.
You might, yeah. Well,
You're
that'd be
gonna break it up
stupid.
when
You're
you
yeah,
do
because you're
Yeah.
blowing. That's what. What's,
Although last year when you opened it up against Notre Dame,
but that was
you
that was
weren't
against
doing the
Notre
offense you
Dame.
should have been doing.
But that was Notre
Yeah.
Dame.
you were not
Yeah.
running your pro style
Yeah.
offense that you should have been.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's in
in the coaching mindset there.
I think
Okay,
that-
but I
Josh
think
Gaddis
another-
is
I
here
think
for the first
another-
time and has 100% of play
Josh
call.
Gaddis has never called a play.
Now, here's the thing. I think it's not depends if Michigan wins or how much we win by. Everybody just wants to see the offense.
Yeah, that's really why. We know the defense will be
I think
solid,
it
but
definitely depends on how much you win by. I definitely.
You think so?
Does
I think so.
does DPJ
You
play
can't.
in
You can't.
this game?
Hey,
The way
I think
the
if
way
you
they
win by,
grade
you can't.
for picking the Final Four.
You cannot lose, or you cannot win by less than 4 or 5 touchdowns. I think
Really?
against
Wow.
Middle Tennessee State.
That's
Middle-
true, though.
It's Conference USA.
That's also
You
true.
should. Like if it was a Bama or Clemson, they'd be favored by 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of this, I think we're talking about too much of Middle Tennessee State. And
Let's
Michigan.
go to Sunday, September 1st.
Houston.
7:30 kickoff.
At Oklahoma, number 4.
Houston at Oklahoma.
Who we got?
I'm taking Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
The Sooners all the way.
I think Jalen Hurts has a great game, but does De'Aaron King show him up in the first game? Have
No.
better stats.
No.
For Houston.
No.
King will have more turnovers, but he's gonna have those
No,
stats.
I think King's gonna have the better stats than Jalen.
You get what 4 or 5 touchdowns.
King's
It's
gonna
gonna
have at least 4 or 5.
It's gonna
touchdowns.
be
Yeah.
all offense.
That's what
all-
I'm saying. I think King's gonna
All
have the better.
Midwest. Just
Does
throw
that
the ball.
Oklahoma defense improve this year?
The last 3 transfers.
Under
from
Alex
Conference-
Grinch, I think they'll show improvements. It won't be, oh, they're finally all of a sudden a top 15 defense. No, they're not going to do that in year one. But Alex Grinch, I think he's there for the long haul, or at least until he can maybe prove he can be a head
I
coach.
think
somewhere.
easily the biggest defense in the Big 12, and the best team in the Big 12.
I think Ohio State's going to have the best defense in the Big 12.
I believe that
Honestly.
too.
I think Iowa State, but I see what you're saying.
But-
Maybe Oklahoma gets that second spot, and them in Texas maybe battling.
Yeah, I think the one big thing to do is Grinch came up with a system with some of the coaching staff, and they talked about how many takeaways it would take through the whole season to win out.
Yeah, this was on ESPN.
And yeah, it was
I
on
saw
ESPN.
this,
You
yeah.
saw it when that guy traveled through.
Yeah.
And they said 20 takeaways. Last year they were at 10, but they specifically are implementing ways for their defensive line and some of their linebackers to gain tackle and what that
In
looks
corners,
like.
yeah, bring in the corners and
so the one
safeties
guy
to
kind
do
of
it.
secures him, the other guy's gonna rip his hand, and the other guy's gonna come in and punch. This D was nasty last year with takeaways. I think they could come out and Houston is gonna be kind of trying to do all they can, and I think in that they're gonna lose the mindset of mistakes because they're just gonna be so like we need home run plays, we need home
Speaking
run
of,
plays.
I think that defense will be improved. But speaking are we worried about how many? Are we worried about how many talent they lost on the outside? Like, do they have enough weapons for Jalen Hurts?
Oh, that. Well, okay, so they do have. Let's see, they've got some returning production. Because they lost Hollywood Brown, obviously, who was he was key on. He was key on receptions, but they have CeeDee Lamb back. CeeDee Lamb, he was almost as good.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely going to be a first round pick, but definitely got Oklahoma win this game.
For sure.
Who we got
easily.
next?
Yeah.
Last game.
It's the last game.
That's Monday night.
Ooh, we
Wait,
got
who
the
did it?
Fighting Irish.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Fighting Irish Notre Dame
At
coming in
Louisville.
ninth, going into Louisville. It's going to be a blackout. Who you guys got? CJ. This is CJ's
This is
lock.
my lock
I
of the
think
week.
maybe we should get CJ.
This is my lock of the week. 20.5-point favorite going to Louisville. Louisville will cover. They're not going to lose by 3 touchdowns at home opening night. I think it's too much to ask for that Notre Dame defense to do that week 1.
See,
I think it's a 17-point game. I think it's close.
What's your final score? What do you got?
I'm going to go 28. 28-17.
28-17.
28-17. I don't think Louisville scores enough. They're having who's going to play quarterback.
You
Who's
maybe
a
think
starter?
Their first 22 can maybe keep up somewhat, but their
Yeah.
second 22
It's
is
just
not
not
going
doing.
to be. Yeah, when they have to.
When you hit
rotate
that
guys in.
late third quarter, fourth quarter, Notre Dame's going to play just talent-wise.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Notre Dame will win. It's going to be I think it'd be a little tricky. But I think they still pull away. I think it's closer than everybody thinks so.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, especially because having Scott Satterfield, Look what he did at Appalachian State.
Mhm.
He easily brought them to the FBS, made them a contender.
Almost beat Penn State early in the year
Almost
last year.
beat Penn State. They've had great games. Like Scott Satterfield is the guy to turn Louisville around. And look at Louisville's recruiting classes. They've got athletes.
No, if you look at next year's class, going to be the guys that get their recruiting class is muchly
That's what I'm
improved.
saying. They have athletes. But I gotta say, Notre Dame's. feel like their defensive line, they're gonna get after it. I think they do have the best defensive ends in the country. I think they're gonna have at least maybe seven sacks that game. They're probably gonna win somewhere like 42 to 14.
Do they cover?
Oh, I got them winning 42.
Do you guys think they win by more than?
Yeah, I got
I
them winning by
believe
3 touchdowns.
with Ian Book being a dark horse for the Heisman, I think he tries to show all he can, especially in this first week, at a difficult away game, which is a night game. It's a blackout. It's crazy.
And that's the reason why I'm also not thinking. I think Ian Book will be pressing early,
trying to do too
trying
much.
to do too much, showing what he has improved, making
Yeah,
throws
Maybe,
like
maybe 2 picks.
maybe 2
So
picks
it's
early.
close for the
Because
beginning.
like Brian Kelly wants him to do, he wants
Yeah.
to take shots downfield. In which, like Brian Kelly said, you guys want shots downfield, it's going to come with more turnovers.
Right.
So we on the ND train.
I want excitement.
You want
I want.
Indy?
I've got Notre Dame covering the spread of 20 and a half.
20.
What's your final score, John? Who you got? What's the score?
I've got Notre Dame 56-21.
I like that though. I like that score.
Who you got?
Having the
I'm
offense
taking
running
Lou Holtz's old ball team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Irish all the way,
All right,
baby.
well,
All the way.
that wraps up the week 1 picks. But
Week 1 pick.
like last week, like we said, we were going to do some homework, and we know defensive players are never going to win the Heisman. But we came up with a list of our favorite defensive players that, if they could, who do you got winning the Heisman as a defensive
If we're
player?
going all defense right here, I got 2 guys on my mind. One for the Big Ten, and Patty Fisher, linebacker. I think he's the best linebacker in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, over Joe Bocci from Michigan
Yes,
State.
I think he's the best
Okay.
linebacker in the Big Ten. Without a doubt, he gets tackles, he gets sacks, he does everything for Northwestern's defense. He's another guy.
I've got Kenny Willekes for
Michigan State.
Michigan State. I mean, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right.
Oh,
Willekes.
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 Yeah, Willekes.
Willekes. Either way,
Yeah.
led the Big
You're
Ten
showing
in
love.
sacks.
You're showing love. Yeah.
I think he gets after the quarterback well. He's going to be a top first round pick easily.
No, I like that. He's
Yeah.
a straight prototypical.
So if
Big Ten.
he ends up getting 13 sacks, something crazy, which he can against these easier teams, then I don't know, possibly if
Get
he
some
forces
turnovers.
enough turnovers,
Yeah.
that's going to be the big thing. Because when Manti Te'o got second, he had what
tackles for
seven-
loss,
tackles
sacks,
for loss,
interceptions,
sacks, everything that includes helping your team
Yeah.
win. Obviously, the chances of a defensive player winning the Heisman are probably 2%.
Yeah, it's not hot.
Overall.
Yeah, there's no.
It's going to be
way.
so,
Last one was
so
2000
difficult. But that is my pick
1997,
if he
Charles
does.
Woodson, the last one.
Right.
Like I said, we
so
know
20 years ago, at least.
defensive players aren't going to win it, but if they could, these are our guys who
Right.
we think could win it. Who you
Right.
got, Caleb? Who's your guy?
I'm taking Raekwon Davis out of
okay.
Alabama. Last year only had 1.5 sacks, but had 24 solo tackles. And then in 2017 he had 8.5, leading Alabama and possibly the SEC. And I don't know. I think he's a big presence. I think with Josh McMillian going out at linebacker, that he's going to have to step up at D tackle and do something big. But the problem is can a defense player on the defensive line win Heisman without kick returning or playing
I found
offense?
out-
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
that's just
no.
hard. That's
Exactly.
what the guys in the past have kind of set themselves up.
And like, who was the last? I think Adama Sue was the last one who made it to the Heisman finalist as a defensive
Manti
tackle.
Te'o.
Manti Te'o?
No.
but as
Yeah.
he's talking defense.
D-line.
Defensive
D-line,
tackle.
yeah,
Yeah,
D-line
because
never.
I'm
Te'o was a
Sue, I think.
linebacker, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. I was
Shoot.
doing some research.
Alabama could have. Their defensive tackle last year could have made it, but
Yeah.
they never get love.
They just
And
never
it-
get any
It's the
love.
problem with, especially with the NFL offense, the NCAA offense. They want to throw the ball. The numbers are just too crazy in terms of quarterback.
And everybody
And
loves
even
offense.
running back, but it's always going to be quarterback.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Okay, so I've got two different guys. I've got one from Big Ten, one from SEC. The guy from the Big Ten, none other than Chase Young, seen some pictures of this guy. This dude has put on some muscle.
Yeah,
He's definitely
I
looks
agree
like
with that.
he could probably be the #1 pick in next year's draft. His stats last year were awesome. He had 10.5 sacks. He had 5 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups. So he's in coverage. He knows, and that's where you get your picks from, going back into coverage and all that. Next guy I got, linebacker from Alabama, Dylan Moses. What more can I say? He's the leading tackler on one of the best defenses in America, on one of the best teams in America, and that's how you win Heisman.
Mhm.
You got to have production on one of the best teams in college football. So those would probably be mine too.
And I think another guy I was thinking about, who I think honestly might have the best shot to make it to New York, is a safety from LSU.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Grant
Delpin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the best safety in the country. Last season's stats, he had 74 tackles, 9.5 for loss, 5 sacks, 5 picks, 9 pass deflections.
As a safety, that's crazy.
As a safety, to have that
5.5
number.
sacks as a safety is insane.
But
So
they
that's,
like to
that's
bring
good.
their-
That's
they-
great defensive
yeah.
coordinating. First of all.
Oh no, yeah, because they
But-
like to
and
bring
also
their
great
safeties
talent.
in.
To piggyback
He's
on that,
athletic as hell.
if Chase Young isn't the first defensive player taken, I think it's going to
Is
be
he
great.
getting him?
Delpit. Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
And, like,
You're talking about in the draft.
yeah, in the draft for next year's
And
NFL draft.
Top 10 draft.
Yeah,
Hey, you guys-
I think he's top 5.
And we all said like
I think he's top
linebackers,
5.
some D tackles, whatever. But let's say he comes out and he gets like 5 picks early in the season. He's an athlete. Let's say, okay, put him back at punt return, kick return. If he gets 2-3 returns during the season,
He reminds me a lot of Charles Woodson.
Wait, is it crazy to say he's Tyrann Matthew 2.0?
That's what I'm saying. At
Exactly.
LSU,
Is it
Tyrann
crazy
Mathieu.
to say that?
No.
give him on his kick returns, he returns
Yeah.
to easily make it.
Forces turnovers.
Throw him in the
That's
slot. I don't
Tyrann
care.
Mathieu.
Yeah,
That
like-
game.
Yeah, he's an athlete enough.
In the rounds, like just give him the ball so he
Yeah.
can do what he can do.
Hopefully, he has a better head on his shoulder.
Yeah, but
than
like you
Tyrann
said, I like
Mathieu.
that. Having, especially in the NFL, if you can play more than one position, you're going to get signed
Oh, yeah.
somewhere. If you can be a kick return, punt
Right.
return, and a safety.
For sure.
I think for him,
I mean,
just to
especially
have,
at like a loving team like the Saints.
Yeah,
I
that,
mean, they throw that quarterback in there.
yeah, from BYU.
Yeah.
Tanner Mangum. or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
He's gonna get love if he goes to a progressive coach, offensive coordinator, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
for
He'll
sure.
get used in a good way.
I think and his stats from last year kind of reminds me, besides the 5 picks, and we know Peppers only had 1 pick in college. But those are like Jabril Peppers' stats with 5 sacks.
Just being aware, like
Yeah.
having like the IQ on
Just a
defense.
ball hawk and
Ball
really
hawk.
up to go into the line and go get a sack.
And it's not really patting your own stats, but being in a position to get your other guys involved.
Exactly.
Putting
Right.
your other teammates.
Just being that defensive threat
You being
is,
that-
is one thing alone.
Yeah.
Covering that middle of the field as a
Seems
safety.
like quarterbacks wherever Delpit's going to be at, they're like, don't throw that way.
All right.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week. I appreciate you guys coming in to listen. From all of us, this is the Hustle Podcast Week 2. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and soon to become Facebook at FW Hustle. Thank you guys. Have a good week.
Thank you.
And we're back for week 2 of the Hustle Podcast. We're about to dive into week 1 of college football after we had an amazing 2 games with week 0. I'm CJ Wesher here with CJ Hester, Logan Smith, and John Hope is finally back with us. The man, the myth, the legend. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great too, but thanks for asking. I appreciate that, man.